I'm using one of my own recipes right now to make cupcakes, and I don't like to toot my own horn that much, but toot. I'm gonna toot it on this one because a few years ago, I made this decision to start adding ingredient amounts within the recipe instructions. Like, I still have an ingredient list with all of the amounts at the start of the recipe, but then within the instructions, I started adding the ingredient amounts because it just makes for such a better user experience, I think. Let me show you. So instead of it just saying to like sift the flour and baking powder and salt together, it also lists the amounts for those things within the recipe list. So when you are going through and baking, you don't have to keep flipping back, or even better, when you're on your phone, you don't have to keep scrolling back up to see the amounts. Now, I'm a big fan of mise en place, so I do find that, mise en place helps, but when I do my mise en place, I like to mise ingredients together. So I know that all the dry ingredients are gonna go together. So when I'm looking through the steps just to see what can be mised out together, mise en place is when you measure everything out before you mix. I can see what things are gonna go together, and I can see the amounts, and I don't have to keep flipping back. Okay, and then also, I'm giving credit where credit's due. This was my idea. However, I have a content manager that executes this for me. So my content manager, Kelly, goes through and does all of this for me. She's the one that has physically executed this. And she also has gone back and edited hundreds of other recipes that I wrote before we started doing this to match this formatting. So if you go to the Baker Betty website and look at recipes, most of them are like this. There are still some old ones that we haven't yet updated. Now, my cookbook is not like this. I would have loved to have this included in my cookbook. However, when you're writing a cookbook, when you're writing any book, you are limited to word count. So this was not something that I could make happen with the cookbook. Hopefully, when I'm a bigger author someday, it manifests in my next cookbook, I could make that happen. But cookbook is not currently like that. It's a little easier to read in a cookbook though, because ingredients are like side by side with the recipe rather than like top to bottom, like a website. But anyways, toot toot, I'm reaping the benefits, and now you can too. Bye.